It's January the 6th, January the 7th actually, January the 7th, 2024. I got back into Wellington where I live, have lived for 20 years, over 20 years now. I got back here about 3 days ago. I was on the road for 2 weeks, went to Resolution Festival over New Year's, I was there for 7 days at this festival, which is 5 days long. Went into the festival site a day early and left a day late. Camped out with some friends who I didn't expect to camp with. And I had intentions of filming along the road, traveling, and making videos of what I had learnt in the last few weeks of hanging out with people and connecting with people, and what I learnt, my own processes during the last couple of weeks of my 2023. But I had such a tumultuous 12 days, 13 days between leaving Wellington on December 23rd, 2023, and then coming back to Wellington January the 5th, I think it was. Incredible. I feel as though I've been tested in many ways in the last 2 weeks, really 2 weeks. Today's been more of a rest day for me. This is the Sunday, the 7th of January. It's been a rest day, but still processing my experiences and feeling into what I was feeling. I have felt the full gamut of human emotion in the last 2 weeks, and have struggled to even comprehend the idea of making videos while I was on the road. But I'm heading to the South Island of this archipelago, and that South Island in Muri is Te Waipounamu. Te Waipounamu is the South Island. I'm heading there next Sunday for 3 weeks to travel, to go to Spirit Fair South Island, and to visit friends and be with friends, and just to be out of Wellington for 3 weeks and have some of my summer traveling on the road. And a beautiful part of this part of the world, Te Waipounamu was my favourite island. Out of all the islands I've been to in the world, and I've been to a lot, hundreds, it's one of my favourite islands to go travel on. And I'm fortunate to be blessed and to be only on a ferry ride, only 3 hours away from that island. And I'm looking forward to getting down there again. The energy on that island is very different to where I am. But I have run the full gamut of emotions in the last 2 weeks. It feels like 3 weeks. It felt like my time is actually, it was being relative in regards to a construct. It felt like time slowed down to a point where I was experiencing it moving so slowly, like treacle. And I was put in positions constantly due to situations that I created for myself, by decisions that I made, and those decisions I made coming back not to haunt me, but to test me and to see how far I'd come along my spiritual path in 2023. Now, I don't look at any of the situations that I found myself in the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 as being negative. I found them as being challenges and opportunities that presented themselves to me to show me what I'd created in 2023, coming home to roost in a way that was challenging me to be a better man and to chill, love, and rise above, even when I was put in situations where I was being bullied, situations where I was being attacked, and I was being attacked verbally and through the written word as well, attacked by some individuals who I do not enjoy interacting with. And the conflict that came with that interaction really challenged me to do my best to be able to be calm. There was one episode I had for about an hour and a half travelling between Auckland and Lake Whakamaru in the Waikato region, where I was just losing my shit trying to leave voice messages on Telegram to my property manager. And I was so infuriated. I left about 30-40 messages and deleted them all because I just got slowly more incrementally more angry as I was leaving messages, to eventually I got to a point at Whakamaru store where I pulled over to get an ice cream, and I actually left the message about 30 seconds long and made 3 bullet points, and that was enough for me. I couldn't say any more because I was still fuming with the energy of how I felt for almost an hour and a half of driving, leaving messages on Telegram hands-free as I was driving my van. But these were all these situations were self-created. Everything that I experienced, I am not blaming anybody else. I created these situations myself through my own choices, and some of the choices I made in 2023 came home to roost for me and showed me and allowed me and gave me the challenges and the opportunities to see, hey, how much have you really evolved? How much have you changed? How far have you come in regards to your own processes to be able to react or respond rather than react to situations that are out of your control, but you created the situation by instigating and also going about the processes of creating this circumstance. But this circumstance over here is the outcome of your creation over here. So once again, I feel as though when you do the work, when you're in a process of doing your best to deal with your shadow, and as you move into the energetic confluence and influence of the ascending Dwapara cycle, the Bronze Age, all that is hidden has to come to light, and your own darkness has to come to light. And my shadow began to show itself in the sense of, not a negative sense in the situation, but the opportunity for me to respond rather than react was given to me constantly. In about 4 or 5 days, I was harassed by some individuals to the point where it just got ugly for me, and I just needed to stop it, set some hard boundaries, and turn off my devices. And being at a festival where I was already triggered by being at the festival itself, Resolution Festival, whereas the organisers of Spirit Fest, Resolution Spirit Fest, North Island Spirit Fest, South Island, actually built a container energetically for people to go into those festivals to enjoy themselves, to have a great experience of a connection with people, because it's alcohol and drug-free festivals, but people still take drugs into the festival, but no alcohol. They build this container where you have the ability to move through a process, or to deal with your trauma, or to deal with anything you need to deal with, and the container is a safe place for you to have that experience. There are healers there, there are healing zones there, there are people there you can connect with, there are musical acts, there are DJs. The entire spectrum of a festival, it's a wellness festival, so the entire spectrum of the festival experience is all there for you to have, without the alcohol, without the vibration of alcohol. And some people, of course, were doing, Molly, others were doing acid, others would be doing other things. I was straight the whole time. For me, my festival experience of doing those kind of things is no longer important to me in any way. I've done my time with drugs. I'm done. I'm out. For me, my drug is sobriety. My drug is facing that which comes up, embracing it and engaging with it, transmuting it, alchemizing it, transitioning through it, feeling it, and moving on. In the past, at a festival like that, where if I've been triggered or if I'd been in a situation where I was feeling something, I'll tell you more about what I was feeling in a moment, feeling something, and I needed to cope with how I was feeling, I would take a substance to stop that, to numb the feeling of what was coming up. I would cope with taking a substance to numb it immediately. Molly, MDMA, acid, cocaine, whatever it would be, I would take a substance and I would numb that feeling, that emotion, that expression, that energy that was rising up in the festival by me being triggered by an experience. So what I felt the 31st of, the same as last year, what I had this year was another experience of feeling like I wasn't being seen at the festival on the 31st of January. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I had no sense of connection with people. And this is all my own creation and my feeling. No one else was making me feel this way. I felt like I wasn't being seen. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I didn't feel worthy to receive love, attention, joy, euphoria, connection. I didn't feel worthy of any of these things. So feelings of self-worth was probably the feeling of self-worth. Obviously, I think for me was the foundation upon which everything else kind of compiled upon. So I felt that way, even though my New Year's Eve experience at 8:30 at night in the rhythm tent at Resolution Festival, here in Te Ika a Maui, on the Kaipara Harbour. I was dancing to my friend Anavan Diva's set, an amazing set. I was right at the front of the stage, wearing a costume, dancing, having the time of my life, transmuting because this is what I do now. And I have done for a long time, even when I was taking substances. I transmute my pain, I transmute my feelings into dance, and through the expression of dance, I take that energy and I move it out of my body, and I connect to all in the room and to all across creation. That's how I tend to heal, through dance, through movement. So I was transmuting this energy at the time, and funnily enough, as I was doing that, one of the catalysts for my experience of feeling not worthy was dancing right next to me. And the universe has a really funny way of making you say, here it is, right here in front of you. You want the experience, you want to do the work, you want to get clear, you want to do the work, you want to evolve, you want to shift, you want to change, you want to bring in more light. Well, I'm going to give you the challenge that you want and that you need to see if you are up for it, and not only that, how far you've come. So I had this individual dancing next to me that made me feel like I wasn't being seen, and I was like, oh my God, that individual's right there next to me, and I'm dancing next to that individual. And when I went to talk to that individual basically moved back 3 rows from where I was dancing, from being next to me, 3 rows behind me of people, and danced behind me. And it made me feel right away, and I didn't assume anything. It made me feel right away as if I was being rejected on some level and not worthy. And that was my feeling. I'm not saying that was the situation. That individual may have had other reasons that I can only assume for their decision to move back from where I dancing next to me to dance behind me, 3 rows behind me. That was their decision. I will not assume anything here. But it made me feel, in that moment, unworthy. The rest of that night, New Year's Eve, was a bit of a hodgepodge of energy. I ended up in the tribal area, the teepee, dancing with my friends in the teepee area. Incredible energy in there with this tribal area of drums, djembes, didgeridoos, yidaki, shakers, medicine drums. Incredible energy in this teepee on the New Year celebration. And we didn't even celebrate the New Year, so to speak, because the drumming was so intense. Now everyone forgot that we had transitioned into a New Year in the Gregorian calendar. Pretty funny. So I ended up going home that night, going to bed quite late, on the 1st of January 2024. I say it because the Gregorian calendar to me is an illusion. Going home at night. The next day, as the synchronicities happen at Spirit Fest and at Resolution, and the container that's created there, what happened for me was that I was walking through to have a shower in the morning, quite early in the morning. As I was walking through the healing area, a couple of my friends who have a van there saw me walk past and open up the window and said, "Fuck, come back here now." And I said, "I'll be back in a moment, let's go have a shower." I went to have a shower, showers were too busy, big queue, so I came back into my friend's van. And then we had a discussion. They could see energetically where I was at, what was going on. But they also said to me, "Thank you, my 2 friends, thank you for dancing with me last night. Our sober dance was the highlight of my entire festival. Thank you so much." It made me feel worthy, made me feel appreciated. I finally felt like I belonged somewhere. But my 2 friends who are healers took me through a process where I began to unpack my feelings, unpack what I was going through, unpack my creations, unpack what I was experiencing through the use of inner nature cards. So my feelings, my emotions, my deepest revelations were brought out in front of me in this deck of cards. I was able to see and unpack what was going on in my life in front of my 2 friends, one of them being the healer who helped me to unpack these feelings and showed me and also explained to me that I did belong, that I was worthy, that of her attention, of her and her husband's attention, and also worthy of their love and admiration and respect, and how much I meant to them as a man in their life, as a connection in their life, and how much they meant to me. I was able to express that to them. And also my closest friend came past the van at the same time, and we called him in. So he sat there with us in the healing experience and was able to hear from me how much he meant to me being in my life. And I was able to unpack this in front of 3 other individuals, including myself, and had this beautiful healing experience in the synchronicity of this container created at Resolution Festival. And after this, my friend, the healer, her husband took me into a tent next to the van where he did a hypnosis on me and enabled me to bring into a deeper level of integration the healing experience through the hypnosis that continued on for the next 2 days of the festival before they left. So I began the year with a healing, just as I did in 2022, 2023 at the same festival, Resolution Festival, except in that year, 2022, 2023, I was seen in a way that enabled me to actually have the prospect of a deeper intimate connection with one individual, and I said no. I created quite a hard boundary with her, and then funnily enough, on the 2nd of January 2023, I involved myself in a deeper connection intimately with somebody else who presented themselves in a way that they opened themselves to me and I to them, and it felt completely right for us to have that connection, and I began an intimate connection with that individual. She's the last woman that I've been intimate with. I haven't been intimate with a woman, I'm telling you my deepest secrets here, I haven't been intimate with a woman since January 2023, and it's January 2024, so it's been a year. And the reason why I've done this and made this decision, this choice, is because my inner work is far more prescient and important to me, and I've met no one in my life at this time now that I want to be open to connect in that way with. I'm open to the experience, but I've got a lot of boxes to tick for myself first before I enter into that kind of connection. I'm not really feeling the boxes are all ticked for me to move into that deeper connection. I've met no one that I've wanted to have that connection with as well, which puts me in a very interesting place in my life. Very monkish. I'm a monk. I'm a funky monk. So yeah. And then I left the festival on the 3rd of January. And then, of course, by leaving that festival, I had more triggers coming at me, more barbers coming at me from individuals who I was dealing with due to the nature of my decisions and my creations. And the work continued. The work continues for me. And it really has put me in a place of understanding the nature of what is now an opportunity to show and to move from a place of deeper understanding that the work will continue. The more light you bring in, the more you're willing to work through your creations and take personal responsibility for all that you create in your life. In my experience, the more the universal energy, the more the universal law will say to you, well, okay, if you're open to experience this, if you want to be challenged to see how far you've come, and you're willing to acknowledge the fact that you created this whenever you created that, but that's got repercussions, and now you want to face those repercussions, or you want to be tested, I'm going to send that to you. What you created there is now coming over here, and it's going to be here for you. It's going to challenge you in a way to see if you have, how far you've come, and if you have truly come to a place where you are able to deal with a situation that you find yourself in and say, right, okay, I've got the tools to be able to face the situation in a way, in a loving way, or in a place of strong boundary when you need a strong boundary, and rather than going into energetic deficit, which is what I experienced in 2023. I was giving so much of my time and my energy to other people and to situations, I put myself into an energetic deficit. So therefore I was not being open to receive energy from someone else or from other people in the way that I'd like to be, due to the nature of my decision to step back. I kind of forgot that, hey, I'm interacting with people, I'm interacting with the whole entire universe, and I can allow and receive energy that will take me out of that place of energetic deficit, but also set some hard boundaries so I don't put myself into a place of energetic deficit by saying, no, hard boundary, I can't give any more than I already have. One of the big lessons my friends, the healers, taught me on the 1st of January 2024 was to do not put yourself into energetic deficit by giving too much when you've only got enough energy to give to a certain point, but also remember to open yourself up to receive love, compassion, humor, connection, community, to feel as though you belong somewhere, to feel when someone asks you to come in and you have the energy and the space to do so, to do it, to receive. Because all my life I've had issues with self-worth, and due to the nature of my decisions around making myself into I'm not going to say a player, but I totally was for a long time, make myself into that. Well, I just did it, didn't I? Make myself or identify myself as being somebody that brought an experience into my life that where I was intimate with a number of women due to the nature of my lack of self-worth. I was playing a part, playing a role, wearing a persona to create a persona that brought across the sense of confidence. And I had that confidence, and I had that confidence because I was completely fearless in my movements within that field of awareness of knowing who I wanted to be and who I identify myself as being. And now coming to that place of deeper reflection and the inner work, I don't have the same capacity in my life, and nor do I want to share myself in that way with as many women as I did when I was playing and being that role. My sense of self-worth and nurturing mean for me that I take a step back and I give with an open heart, and I come with a different sense of connection from my heart rather than any other part of my body. So therefore, when I move from that place of connection, often with women that I'm meeting, my intimacy is on a heart-based level rather than a sexual level for me now. So it's more like I'm opening myself up to being someone completely different than I used to be. And that also, for me, I'm discovering tends to challenge me in another way. It challenges me to be more open to be able to express that knowledge, and come to a place where, because so many women are so used to men talking out one side of their face, but actually talking out the other side of their face, being two-faced, saying one thing and doing something completely different in regards to the nature of the sacred masculinity, being toxic because they say one thing, they do something completely different. But for me, if I say something now, if I say I'm moving from here, and this is where I'm moving from my heart vortex in regards to connection, I truly mean it. I'm not in a place where I want to enter into sexual connection with women so easily, because I value my energy and I value connection so much now in my life, that in regards to that position of where I move from my heart vortex, from that deeper sense of connection, I can have everything that I need and choose to experience by moving from my heart vortex into connection in regards to connection with everyone and everything. It's just coming to that place of awareness, moving from here rather than any other part of my body, including my sexual organs. So when I meet women, I say to them, and I connect with them and say, hey, I'm available for this experience, often they don't believe me. And it's nothing to do with me. It's just to experience something completely different from other men. But I mean it. I genuinely mean that. So for me, moving from that place of like, hey, I'm available for this experience, this is what I'm available for. I'm open to experiencing something more deeper and intimate and connective sexually, but there's a lot of boxes for me to tick before I can move into that place, and there's a lot of energy I have to put into my connection with you before I'd even feel safe to have that connection with you, moving into that place. It might sound completely crazy for someone who used to be, shall we say, a player, but I'm a different man than I was 10, 15 years ago. Good Lord, I'm a different man than I was last year even. But coming in that place now, coming to that place where I'm realizing that my own experiences of what I'm creating in my life are coming back full circle really quickly due to the nature of the energy of the ascending Dwapara cycle. I'm really in a place now, I'm being very acutely aware, best I possibly can be, in the nature of my use of words, language, and deeds. Because when I'm casting spells in regards to me reverberating a story or what I'm saying or the use of my words, I'm very careful about how I choose to put those words into order and what kind of spell I'm casting. I'm looking for the most deepest, harmonious, and conflict-free use of language I can possibly create, and also being very aware of how I choose to move forward from where I am in my life experience. Because what I've learnt in the last 2 weeks is that when you take full responsibility for your life, the universe is a very precious and powerful way. I mean precious in the way that it's holy way of showing you and testing you and say, well, if you want to take full responsibility for your life, do you remember when you created this? Well, this is the result of that. Now, how do you feel about that? Are you able to hold your center in your core without losing your energy and going to energetic deficit and say, yeah, okay, here I go again. Not only am I tested, here I am doing the work. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Have an amazing 2024. It's your year. Be all you can be. Thanks for watching. Matewa. I'll see you again soon.